Today we are going to prepare ginger and black bean sauce flavored pink grouper with a side dish of squash and shrimp. Of course, first you have to get your garlic prepared. And here is the pink grouper after it has been flavored with the ginger and the black bean garlic sauce. So this is the first thing you do in preparation. Here's the shrimp that will go in the squash. So let's get started. Of course, here's the squash. We're going to stir fry this. Of course, you do it on very high heat. When you cook Chinese style in a wok, you have to have very high heat. So you've chopped up your garlic, and now we're going to put the olive oil in the wok. We're going to stir fry the shrimp and squash first. And of course, we're going to steam the fish. That will be the second. The last thing we do will be steaming the fish. So here we go with getting the side dish of squash and shrimp together. So in goes the garlic and the shrimp. Well, as you can see, with the high heat of the Chinese cooking wok, it doesn't take long to get the shrimp ready. You put that over to the side. You still have the garlic and the oil in there, and now it's gonna take a lot longer to get the squash to a tender flavor. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to cook up the squash and the garlic and the oil. You add a little bit of water whenever necessary as sauce, and you cook the squash until it's tender on high heat. So our pink grouper is still waiting there. That'll be the last thing we do. Now we go ahead and chop up some onions. That'll be one of the last things we add to the squash and the shrimp. So you go ahead and get your onions prepared. We're still cooking the squash covered. You can cover it sometimes until it gets to a nice tender flavor. A nice tender texture.
Is it tender yet?
So we're almost ready with the squash, and here sits the pink grouper. As you notice, it's sitting on a metal piece. We're going to steam it in the wok. That's a metal, it's sitting on a metal stand, which will steam in the wok. I'll show you that later. So now it's time to throw the shrimp back in and add the onions. Well, it's time to add the fish sauce for flavor. You gotta add the fish sauce if you want that flavor to be perfect. Add water when necessary to keep a nice little sauce going. cooking on high heat, and now it's time to add a little pepper. So we've added the peppercorn, and now the last thing we add to the squash dish is the onions. So now it's done, and we add it to a nice thick covered dish to keep it warm until we get the fish all steamed up. So we're about ready to steam up the fish. So we go ahead and put this dish in a nice covered dish. We cover it, and you can even keep it warm on the stove. If you have a warmer on your oven, you can keep it warm that way. But now we're ready to go on to the pink grouper. Well, the side dish is done, and now our pink grouper is ready to be steamed. So you go ahead and clean out the wok. Just lightly clean out all the garlic, and you don't have to wash it with soap or anything. Now we're going to fill it up with water. We're not going to fill it up with water. You have to have the water a little bit lower than the dish where the fish is going to be sitting in. So now you see why this little metal stand, I'm going to steam it on high heat. So you go ahead and cover it. Well, first we have to add a little bit of water. Make sure the water comes up almost to the stand, the top of the stand. Remember, we're going to steam the fish. So then we go ahead and cover this and get the water boiling. Once the water's boiling, then we can add the fish. We're about ready. So the water is boiling. We got the wok covered. The water's about ready to boil. We already have the fish flavored with ginger. We flavored it with black bean garlic sauce. And we're going to steam this fish for approximately 12 minutes. You know, maybe if depending on how thick your fish is, it might take 15 minutes, but somewhere around 12, 13 minutes, depending again how thick your fish is. So we take a look here, and I think the water is ready, is boiling. It's ready, and now it's ready to put the fish in. So we're almost done. We have our side dish waiting, covered and keeping warm. The fish has been cooking for about 12 minutes. On high heat. Make sure you take a fork or knife and make sure the fish is cooked inside, no raw fish. Now it's time to add a little olive oil. Notice the natural fish juices that has developed, and it's flavored with the black bean sauce. That's going to be a perfect sauce to put over our rice. So we're about done. The first thing I do is put a little rice on my plate before I put the fish on there. Here we go. So we put the fish on the plate. As I said, those natural juices are going to be a perfect sauce. You put that right on the rice. So, are you getting hungry yet? We add our side dish. Does it get any better than this? I don't think so. So there we have it, with a side order of stir-fried shrimp and squash. We have the ginger black bean sauce steamed pink grouper. Let's give it a shot and see how it tastes. Here we go. That is delicious. Very good. Bon appetit.